T20 Cricket World Cup was finished just few weeks back with England claiming victory over Pakistan, and today we are beginning a cricket data analytics series using same T20 World Cup data. We will begin this project by scraping data from ESPN Cricinfo website, then doing data cleaning and transformation in Pandas, and then eventually building dashboards in Power BI. Before we begin any technical work, let's look at the exit problem statement and our special stakeholders that we got in this project.
The whole atmosphere is charged with one type of...
This is brilliant. That's 50 yards. Ashwin goes over. Clears
We like your cricket. Surrender Earth.
You need to fight 8 billion people for that.
We destroy.
Then you get nothing.
Negotiate.
You defeat us in cricket, you get Earth. If you lose, join me as an intern.
Deal.
Tony, we got to save Earth. Give me your best 11.
Best 11 what? Data analyst?
No, cricket players. As you saw, Planet Sporta has challenged Planet Earth to play cricket, and Nick Puri has assembled the secret agents of field to work on this project to find out the best 11 players based on the T20 World Cup cricket data. Tony Sharma is in charge of this project. He's not only a senior data analyst, he's also a cricket subject matter expert. So in the next video, you will see what kind of algorithm Tony Sharma comes up to pick this best 11 team who can go and defeat the aliens. At the end of the video, we are going to give you a challenge based on this project, and by working on that challenge, you will be able to win exciting prizes. So make sure you watch till the end.
Nick, this is the requirement you gave me. You said we don't know the strengths and weaknesses of our opponents, but give the best 11 from our planet. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a team that will score 180 runs on an average. At the same time, this team will be able to defend 150 runs. So you have a margin of 30 runs to play with. Do you think that's enough for you?
Yes, this sounds like a good target because although aliens have not played cricket, they have a technology where they can learn things really fast.
Okay, so this is how I've done this. I've made different positions for players and I've selected parameters for each of them. I'm going to quickly show these parameters to you and let me know if you want to add some parameters
Okay.
or anything. This is just a idea I want to give on how I'm going to select the team. The first ones are the openers. They are going to open the innings. These are the power hitters. So they will be hitting the balls out of the park and they will also score runs. It's just not about hitting. So that's how I've selected the parameters: batting average, strike rate, boundary percentage, very important. They should be scoring 50% of the runs, over 50% of the runs by boundaries, because in the power play, the fielders are going to be inside and they should be hitting outside the inner circle. That's the plan. And they should be giving us at least 50 runs, this partnership, and within the first 5 overs.
Got it. So we'll basically get players like Sehwag, correct?
Nick Sehwag isn't playing anymore.
Oh, okay. I see.
Okay. All right, then we have the middle order or the anchors. So here, they won't be hitting the ball as hard as the openers, but they can shift gears and hit the balls if needed. So they will have a better batting average. They will bat for a longer time. That's why I've also included the average balls faced. They also bat, like aggressively if they want. So those are the kind of players you'll have here. I'm going to select 3 players for this position. So overall, we have 5 players now. So these 5 players will give us at least 120 plus runs in the 13 to 14 overs. That's the plan.
I would like to see Virat Kohli in this 5 list.
Oh, he's playing. I think he's certainly a part of this team.
Great.
And of course, we we are making this. You asked the special requirement is to consider the World Cup T20 2022 for for the selection of the team. So I'm taking only that particular data for that.
Okay.
All right, and so this is going to be an interesting role. I'm going to get one player for this role, a finisher role. So if we are chasing, this particular person should be able to hit like crazy, go berserk. But if we lose wickets early, like if we lose the middle order so badly, so this person will be able to stabilize the innings and order the rest of the lower order batsmen. So that's the kind of player we're looking for. We're looking for more of a batsman here than a bowler. So ideally I would need an all-rounder here, but again, with a batting all-rounder rather than a bowling all-rounder. And this will leave us with 5 more players. And my 7th and 8th player will be all-rounders or the lower order batsmen. So mostly this can be spinners, and because the last 3 slots I'm going to keep it for fast bowlers. So these spinners are the ones who can also hit. And they can hit without thinking, like they come to bat, they just start hitting. So that's the kind of players we want, because they will be mostly coming under around 17th or 18th over. And so that's why I've selected, I've kept the parameter in such a way. The batting average should be at least 15. And you can see the strike rate is more than 140. So even if they score 15 runs, they should be scoring that in around 8 or 9 balls. And you can see the bowling economy is really good. It's less than 7, which means if these 2 players bowl all the 20 overs, they will be giving only 140 runs, which is good for us because our team target is to keep the defense under 150. And their strike rate is less than 20, which means if they bowl 20 balls, they will get 1 wicket at least. If they bowl all the 20 overs, they should be getting at least 6 wickets.
Nice.
Yeah. And here comes the specialist fast bowlers, because we need to rattle the team. We need to rattle the sport dance. I don't think they should be having capability to face these bowlers. This is a wolf pack we have got. They are threatening. They can take wickets at least every 16 balls or even less than that. This is the parameter I've set for them. And they can bowl very fast, and they can also bowl dot balls over 40%, which means if they bowl 4 overs, around 10 of that will be a dot ball, which is great for a T20 game.
Exactly. Dot balls are so precious for T20.
Yes. And with this 11 players, Nick, I'm pretty sure will save the earth. What do you think?
The algorithm looks pretty solid to me. I'm excited to see the final results which our Power BI dashboard can produce.
Yeah. So this is already in progress. So I'll be showing you the final dashboard, and we can do an analysis together to pick the final level.
Looking forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. See you then. Bye.
Folks, we had our resources on GitHub, but we have moved to this resources section on codebasics.io because the file sizes were getting very big. So go to codebasics.io, click on resources here, and you will be able to find all the files here. So here you can click on download, and then you can just create an account for the Codebasics website and log in. Once you're logged in, you will be able to download all these files. Now you can download whatever files you need. Sometimes people may not need all the files, although we are going to provide download all button later, but this way you can download just the required files. Here, for example, I'm going to download my web scraping code, and once it is downloaded, you can open it, unzip, and here you will be able to see all those JS file that we need in Bright Data. Similarly, you can download a rest of the files as well.
Max power, I'm about to go, we're doing better. If I ever lose, setting off faster than ever. If I ever lose, setting on, we're doing better. Hitting all the goals I can. Bigger, bolder, faster. I'm going to the maximum. I'm going to the maximum. I'm going to the maximum. I'm bigger, bolder, faster. I'm going to the maximum. I'm going to the maximum.
Folks, why so much fuss? just use something ready-made. For example, Bright Data.
Let it go, I can let it go. You think I'm too much because I'm too much. Don't you gotta go? Cause I gotta go. Let it drive on full power. Never hit the brakes. No, come on. I gotta go. I gotta.
Bright Data uses proxy networks for building web scrapers that work seamlessly. They have various solutions such as residential proxies, web unlocker, and so on. They also provide ready-made data sets. The tool that we are going to use specifically is called Data Collector. And if you use the link which is given in the video description below, it's a special link for code basics. You can log in. Here it says work email, but don't worry, you can use your personal email ID and still log in. Just select some values from these two drop downs and you will be able to create an account. Once the account is created, if you look at the dashboard, you will find that you will have $15 balance. I want to thank Bright Data for giving this $15 free credit for all Code Basics viewers. For our data scraping work, we need hardly $3 or $4. So this is more than enough. You can use this credit for your other projects too. We are going to capture 4 types of data for our project. Number 1 is this detailed match results table. So we will scrap this entire table. When you click on this particular scorecard link, you will get a detailed bowling and batting scorecard. So we are going to grab all these tables as well. And then when you click on any player, you will get player specific information. So we'll grab few fields from this also. I'm going to click on user dashboard and go to something called a data collector. Now data collector is web crawler basically, which will go to the website and collect the data. I have already created the 4 collectors. So this one is for the match results. So let's say this page, you want to grab that, right? Let's look at that code and understand how that works. So when you right click and say inspect, it will show you the HTML tags for that particular page. And you can click on this and let's say you are getting this particular table, right? Or this particular, let's say, cell. When you look at this, see, this is 1 row, this is 2nd row, 3rd row, and so on. And this particular table is inside this T body and the table class is engine table. So now let me show you my collector. So I will go to my collector here and say edit code. And in this one, you will see the interaction code as well as the parser code. Now this is a JavaScript code. JavaScript is better suited for web scraping because JavaScript code runs inside the browser. So it becomes easier for that. So here, this particular link that you're seeing is nothing but this particular page. So what I'm saying in my collector is go to that page and then collect parse. Now when you say parse, it is going to execute all this code. Now once again, this is a JavaScript code where I am locating the engine table, then I'm going into tbody and then tr.data1. So if you look at here, see there is engine table, then tbody and then tr.data1. And this one is an array. So if you go through this array one by one, you'll be able to get all these records. So and that's exactly what I'm doing here. See, the first element is team 1, second is team 2, then winner and so on. So if you look at any row here, see the first one is team 1, second one is team 2. You can see on the left side. Then the winner, the margin, the ground and so on. So that's exactly what we are doing here. And then it will grab all this data into match summary array. This is JavaScript array basically, and it will return that. Okay. So let me just run this here. It will take some time, but you will see that in the browser, the page is loaded. So it executed this navigate function, went here, and now it is collecting all this information. So if you look at it in the output, you will see this information is now available as a JSON. And if you download that JSON file, this is how it will look. Now let me just format it so that you can see it properly. You can see that now you have team 1, team 2, who is the winner, margin, ground, match date, and the scorecard. So we grab this particular first table in its entirety. See, we have the entire match result for T20 World Cup. Now, the way Bright Data Collector works is they're going to use a smart proxy network, okay? And using that infrastructure, it will do web scraping so that you have seamless data collection without having to worry about some website blocking your IP and so on, because it is sort of like VPN. It is using different IPs, and you will not have any trouble in your data collection process, the kind of trouble that you have when you are using plain Python script. If you're new to Bright Data, what you can do is you can use one of the templates. So for example, I can click on develop a self-managed collector, and you can use one of these templates. See, here you are collecting data from Quora, for example. Here you are collecting data from YouTube. Okay, so you use that template and you can run that collector and you will get an understanding of that. I have provided the code for all these 4 collectors on GitHub. The link is in video description below. So if you look at the web scraping codes, see, here is the batting summary, here is the bowling summary. So these are the code that you have. You have interaction code and you have parser code. Now let me show you batting summary web collector. So here I can go to batting summary, click here, and then advanced section, edit the code. Here what we are doing is this first page that you have is this page only. Okay, so you're going through that match summary page and then you are collecting all the links. All right, which links? So these links, see, when you right click and say copy link address, you get this particular link, right? So we are collecting all those links in this particular code. All right. Then we are calling next stage. So in the next stage, it will execute this particular code. Okay. And this will be the link of that match score. And if you want to see it from the previous run, I have all these links which I collected from the first stage. And in the second stage, what you will do is you will go through this scorecard. So for example, this is my scorecard. And if you inspect this particular page, and let me click on this element and go here, right? So if you do this one, you will find that you are collecting data from a table called CI scorecard table. And if I check that in my collector here, you will find that here I am collecting that particular table and going through my first inning, second inning, etc. This code is not as hard as you think. It is just HTML. You need to have basic knowledge of HTML. You're going through those HTML elements and you're just trying to grab data from it. So you're going through entire list, all the scorecard one by one, and you're putting that summary here. Okay. And when you click on this, it's going to take time. What it will do is it will load this page, then it will go to this link, then it will, grab all these tables, the batting tables, then it will go back, it will go to the second link, collect all the tables, and so on. When you click on this, it will do a sample run for 1 or 2 matches. But if you want to run this collector, for the entire data collection, what you can do is you can click here and you can say initiate manually. So it will run the whole collector. You can also set it on a schedule or initiate by API in some Python code as well. I'm going to show you match results execution because it doesn't take much time. So you click on this and in the delivery preferences, I'm going to type in my email ID here. So it will deliver the data as a JSON to my email ID. All right, so just say initiate manually, start, and see it is starting. Now it will run internally. It is using smart proxy framework and it is going to ESPN Cricinfo website, grabbing that data. And once data is ready, it would have sent me an email. All right, when I check my email, I got the match results. And when you click on download results, it would have downloaded this particular JSON file. And when you look at this JSON file, see, I have the entire match summary. Okay, so this way I ran all the collectors and grabbed all the data and I have put that data on GitHub in T20 JSON and CSV file, right? So this is JSON files. If you want to directly get that data, you can get it from here, but I highly recommend that you use Bright Data for data collection because data collection is super important part of any data science or data analytics project. When you log in, make sure you are seeing this $15 credit, and then you can go to data collection, collectors, and create your first collector by clicking on this Open IDE. So when you do that, you can just say start from scratch. You're creating a blank collector. You're not using any of these templates. And when you see the JavaScript UI, what you will do is you will use the code which I have provided you. Again, check video description carefully for all the download instructions. You will have this file, for example, T20 World Cup match results.js. So open that file, and it has two sections, interaction code and parser code. So for interaction code, I can just copy paste this here and use that code here. Whereas for the parser code, copy paste just that particular portion here in the parser code. And that's it. This is your collector. It is ready. Okay. And you can run it, verify it. You can just say finish editing. You can give the name to that collector. So let me just say finish editing here. So it takes few seconds and then your new collector is ready. You can edit collector name. You can call it whatever, T20 World Cup match summary. Okay, you saved it. If you just cancel that icon, you will see that collector. Now you can run that collector manually. If you want to edit the code, you can once again go inside. So this way you create 4 different collector. Again, I have provided the code to you. If you need any help, you can click on the help button. You can do learning. You can watch Bright Data tutorials on YouTube as well. We are done with web scraping part, and the files that we extracted from ESPN Cricinfo are available in T20 JSON files folder. Now, if you want to use these files ready-made, check video description below. You should be able to download these files. And if you look at these 4 JSON files, for example, batting summary, we have this batting summary JSON element for each match. For example, Namibia versus Sri Lanka. So there is one element in this array. Then the second element in this array is UAE versus Netherlands, and so on. Now, when we pull this data in Power BI, it would be beneficial if the data is available in CSV file, something like this, where, it's just a single flat table and you have cricket match and the corresponding batting score, right? And then see here also there is UAE and the batting score and so on. And here is the batting position. So we need to do transformation basically. We need to transform this JSON file into this particular CSV format. You will also see an additional column. For example, if the player is out or not out. In the JSON file, we did not have that information, okay? All we had was, let's say if dismissal is blank, that means the player was not out. But if the dismissal had some string, that means the player was out. So we have to do this data transformation, and Python Pandas is probably the best way of performing this transformation. If you don't know about Python programming language, you can go to codebasics.io. Super affordable, easy Python course for total beginners. You can follow that. Then for Pandas, search Codebasics Pandas tutorial. You find my playlist, which is very popular, and just watch first, maybe 6 or 7 videos. And that's it. It will take you less than 1 hour. Assuming you have now some Python and Pandas knowledge. Now let's start a Jupyter notebook and work on the transformation. I went to my Cricket Analytics folder and launched Jupyter notebook by running this command. And it looks like this. See, I am at a location where T20 CSV files and JSON file directories are at the same location. I am going to create a new Python 3 notebook and import some necessary libraries. We are going to use Pandas and other library called JSON. And then I will open the first file, which is the match results. Okay. So I will say match results as F, and then data is equal to in JSON. You can just say JSON.load file pointer and it will load that data for you. So let's print what kind of data it loads. So here I have the match summary, remember the match summary table? So let me show you the JSON file so that you get an idea. So my match summary is this one, where basically it's a match, who won the match, right? So between these two, Namibia won the match by this run and so on. And if you look at match summary element, see, it's just one element. And if you look at this array also has one element. Okay, so let's look at that element. So first of all, data array has only one element. You can confirm it by printing just one element, and then data 0, and then match summary. If you print, that's your main list where you have all the match results. So what I can do is I can create a data frame out of it, and I will just say df match is equal to pd dot data frame. In the data frame, you can supply the entire list as an array, and if you print that head of that data frame, see, wonderful. So my data frame is created, and I can just quickly check how many elements it has. And there is a method called shape. When you do that, it prints the shape, basically 45 rows and 7 columns. And I'm going to do a few processing steps, which is, let's see, I will use this scorecard as kind of a key of this particular data frame. What I mean by that is I want to treat this as a match ID so that I can connect with other tables, because I have other tables, and when I import them in Power BI, I need a way to link them, sort of like primary key, foreign key in SQL terms. So I want to treat this scorecard, which is a unique ID basically, as a primary key for this. So let's do that. So I will just rename that column. I will just say df match dot rename. And how do I want to rename the column? So I want to say that rename scorecard as match ID axis is equal to 1, which is, you have column axis and rows axis. And when you print head, you will see the column is renamed. If you're not getting this, just hold on. Later on, you will understand why I am calling it a match ID. Now, once I have this particular data frame, I want to export this data into a CSV file. Okay, so that all the data is in single CSV with nice columns. But before I do that, let me process the batting summary. So the other file that I have is batting summary. Okay, so I will say batting summary. You can add markdown columns, markdown rows in the notebook. And let's see how this one looks like. So batting summary has this particular format. Let's see in the Notepad++. Where is my batting summary? So batting summary, first of all, the outer array has multiple JSON objects. You see, these are all multiple JSON objects. If I open the first JSON object, that has a element called batting summary. See, it has just one element, batting summary. And in that batting summary, there is a score of one match. So Namibia versus Sri Lanka. See all the players, number 1 player, number 2 player, they are in one element. And if you close this and open the second element, okay, you will find UAE versus Netherlands match. So all these matches are presented by one single JSON element inside my array. Okay. So now what I will do is I will go through those records. So I will say for record in data, and this each record is one match, and one match has multiple records for the player, right? So if I print, for example, record batting summary, what I will get is the batting summary of one match. So Namibia versus Sri Lanka. Okay. So so I will get total, I think 11 records. And if you want to just append everything in one array, right? Because our eventual goal, folks, is to get a single list. Basically, I should have a single list where all the matches are present. And if you want to create a single list in Pandas, what you can do is I can create a list called all records. and then I can just keep on appending. I can just say all records dot extend, and when I say extend, it is just extend is basically you have one array and you are appending another array after that. So let me just show you. So let's say you have an array called A, okay, and if you have another array called B, and if you say A extend B, and if you print A, you get this. So it's just joining those array, okay? So similarly here, I am joining all the records, and after I join all of them, I can print all records. See, I got all the records in a single flat list. So Namibia versus Sri Lanka, if I just scroll down, I will see UAE versus Netherlands and so on. And from this, I can create a data frame like this. And when you print, see, I get this is continuous. So if you print tail of it, you will see the final match, Pakistan versus England. I don't know if you've seen that. It was pretty interesting match, World Cup final 2022. Now that I have a data frame ready, let me look at, I just want to do some analysis. I'll just print, let's say, first 11 elements or so. And see, I want to do a couple of things here. First of all, here, the dismissal column, I want to convert this column into out or not out. Okay. So I want to have a column like this, which tells me if the player is out or not out. And the way you can do that is look at the dismissal column, and if you don't find anything in it, if it is blank, it means the player was not out. So let's first do that. And how do you do that? Well, you can create a new column called out or not out in Pandas just by doing this based on the dismissal column. So my dismissal column is this. Okay. And on this, you can use apply method. If you've seen my Pandas tutorial, you will know. So you can say on dismissal column, apply some transformation and create a new column called out or not out. So this is the new column. This is how we create a new column. And on the existing column, I want to apply some transformation. What is that transformation? Well, lambda x, this is just a short way of writing Python function. So here I'm going to use ternary operator. So I'll say player is out if x. When I say x, you're getting each value from this column. Okay. So if let's say x is this, if it is out, if the length of x is greater than 0, else it is not out. Okay. So I will, let's see. Okay. df is not defined, obviously. I'm used to writing df all the time. So you see, you have out and not out. And if I print few more records, you will see whenever there is a blank, it is not out. Otherwise, it is out. Okay. All right. Now that I got out, not out, I don't need this dismissal column. So I can just drop that column. Okay. And this is how you drop it. You will just say drop which column you want to drop, and in place is equal to true. If you don't specify in place is equal to true, it will not modify that data frame. It will return a new data frame. Okay. So when you run this, dismissal is gone, and all you have is out and not out. And you have another column called batsman name, which has some issues, which is, see, this kind of special characters you have. You want to remove this special character, and you can just simply locate all those special characters and then, apply some lambda function. For example, you can say df batsman dot apply this. You can use regular expression. You can use a replace function. You can do n number of things. But just to keep things simple, I will just, I found this, as well as there were other records where I found this character. So I'm just removing them. And now you see in Kusal Mendis actually, you don't see, let me see. You don't see that particular character. So let's see. Yes, see, here you don't see that extra character. All right. Now, how do you connect this particular data frame with the match? Because as I said, for our visualization purpose later on in Power BI, we need a way to link all these tables. Now, just carefully notice these two tables, okay? So this is one table that I have, okay? And this is the second table that I have. I can just use snipping tool and just kind of take a screenshot of that so that you get an idea. So let's say I have this particular table, right? And then I have this another table. So now let's try to match these two. So I want to now connect these two tables. How do I do that? See, I have Namibia and Sri Lanka, right? I have team name, and here I have Namibia versus Sri Lanka. I mean, that is the only key I have between these two tables so that I can join them, or I can link them basically, because I have scorecard here, but I don't have a scorecard here in this particular table. So the only thing I have is match, right? So here it says Namibia versus Sri Lanka. Here it says team 1 and team 2. Now I can say maybe take team 1 and then use VS in the middle and then do team 2, right? And that way I can join them. But the problem could be in this table, the names could be reversed, right? So here, let's say it's Netherlands versus UAE, whereas here, for example, let me print this. See, here I have UAE versus Netherlands. See, so if I just simply say team 1 versus team 2, it's not gonna work. I have to use both the combination, team 1, then VS, then team 2, then team 2, VS, and team 1. So that is the way I can connect. And for doing that, I need to go back to this code and create a kind of like a dictionary. Okay, so dictionary like this. So let me just do that here. So I want to create a match IDs dictionary. Okay, and the dictionary will look something like this. So let's say there is Namibia versus Sri Lanka. Okay, so let's say it looks something like this. And then I can have maybe a match ID as a value, right? And then I can have same thing, but in the reverse order. Why I need this? Because the order is not guaranteed. So I need to have both. And then I have, let's say, Netherlands versus UAE, correct? So let's say I have this kind of Python dictionary where I have team 1 versus team 2, team 2 versus team 1, and the match ID. Then that is going to be helpful. So I can create that dictionary by going through. So let me just remove this. I think you got an idea, or let me put it in the second cell. So I can say for index row in df match dot iter row. So there is a function called iter rows which will go over each row one by one, and then every row has team 1 and team 2. Okay, and you can use that as your key 1. So this will be your key 1, correct? Key 1, because see, Namibia versus Sri Lanka. So I'm creating that by doing this. And then for doing Sri Lanka versus Namibia, you can have key 2. So key 2 is nothing but just, you're reversing the order, team 2 versus team 1. And then you want to add that into this dictionary. So here I will say, add this into my dictionary, key 1. Okay, so key 1 is this, right? And what is the value? You are adding the match ID. So you will say row match ID, and you will do the same thing for key 2. And when you look at now match IDs dict, it looks something like this. See, every team, the original order, reverse order, and the corresponding match ID is dict. Now you'll be like, okay, so how do I use this dictionary? Well, see, okay, let's go back. So the way you use this dictionary is to bring match ID column in this particular data frame. So how do I bring match ID column in this particular data frame? Well, this has a match column, right? So I can look into my match IDs dictionary. So see, if for this match, I want to get a match ID. How do I get it? So I will say match IDs dict and this, okay, in quote. So if you give this, see, you get the match ID. So I can create a new column in this data frame. Okay. I can create a new column in this data frame, call it match ID equal to batting dot. So I want to apply transformation on this match column. So I will say on this column, apply transformation. Map is short of like, it's a function similar to apply, and you are going to give this mapping. So you're just mapping it basically. Okay. And when you do this, you get match ID. See, now you found a way to link these two tables. Okay. And then you will export this particular table as is into a CSV file. And the way you can export this table is by doing this. Okay, I have that file open, by the way, this file, but I'll just say temp.csv, for example. And when I see temp.csv, see in my CSV files folder, see temp.csv. And it looks something like this. It is same file as I was showing before. Basically, it is this file. Okay. Now, in the interest of time, I'm not going to go over the entire transformation for other files too, because the code can be bigger and the tutorial will get so long. So I'm going to share with you the entire notebook. You can take a look later on. But see, here I first process match results, then I process batting summary, and at every point I'm exporting the file. So I exported match summary first, then I exported the batting summary, and then I exported bowling summary, see bowling summary, and the player information. Now, player information, the name I have given is no images, because for player I need their image as well. So I have two files like player CSV with no images. So let me show you that. Let me remove this temp.csv and see, I have dim players.csv and no images. So no image is something that my notebook is giving. Okay. And you can see there is player name, there is team, batting style, bowling style, player role, and the description. Some players don't have description, but some player do. So, and in this file, we have manually added their images. So we collected their images manually and we added it here in dimplayers.csv. So if you open that file, you will see an extra column. Okay. So I have dimplayers open, looks like already. So in that we have an extra column called image. And if you click on this image, you will see the player's picture basically, right? See, if you click on any image, you will see that particular player's image. All right. So I hope you had fun. And now in the next step, we will be importing this CSV file into Power BI. I'm going to launch Power BI desktop. I have already installed this application. If you don't have this, you can just YouTube and find the installation instructions. So Power BI desktop, click on that, close this and just say file, save as, just go to downloads and just give some file name. I will just say T20 Cric. And then you will go to get data, click on more and import the entire folder of CSV files. Now, if you look at our downloads folder, so just check video description below. I have given the instruction to download the CSV files. So these CSV files, either you have used Bright data to capture it, or you can use ready-made files, which I have given to you. And here in this folder, you see 5 CSV files. Now for dim players, we have two versions, one with images, one without images. So I'm going to delete the no images CSV file because that's not going to be useful. And I will here click on folder, connect, and go to that folder and grab all those 4 files. So this PC, you go to downloads, T20 CSV file, okay. It's going to import all those 4 files. Now here you will click on transform data to perform data transformation in Power Query. So Power Query is a component inside Power BI that allows you to do data transformation. Here right click and say duplicate. I'll tell you why I'm doing that, but go to the first step and then click on this binary. Okay. Now when you click on that, it's gonna expand that file. So our first file, if you look at the steps on the right hand side, see the first file is dim match summary, and when we clicked on it, what it did is it expanded that particular file. So I will just call this dim match summary. And similarly, I'll just duplicate these raw steps multiple times. And then here I will expand dim players. So once again, click on this and it's going to expand it. I will call it dim players and do similar things for next 2 files. Now that I have expanded all the files, I will quickly look at the data and perform some transformation. When I'm looking at dim players, I see it did not recognize the column names properly. This can happen. So what you will do is you will say go to the transform tab and then use first row as headers. So see, now it is using name, team, image, etc. In the previous step, if you look at it, it did not have that, right? It was having column 1, column 2, etc. And now I said use this first row as a header row. So after that, it looks something like this. And when I glance through the data, I noticed a couple of issues. Number one is the player name has this in bracket C. This is captain basically. So in the cricket scorecard, if someone is a captain, in bracket, you will see C. I don't need that. I just need a player name. So you are going to apply some transformation where you'll use extract option and you'll say text before delimiter. So delimiter is bracket, right? So you want to get text before the bracket. So in this underscore C, if you get text before this bracket, you'll get only Saqib Al Hassan. So you'll say, okay. And you see that C is gone. So in the previous step, you see Saqib Al Hassan in bracket C, but in the next one, that C is gone. It is a usual practice to do data trimming after this delimiter step. So you will say format and trim, and that will, just in case if there are extra spaces, it is going to remove those. One other thing that I do is I can sort these values. So if I say sort ascending, and when you just quickly glance through these values, you will find some duplicates. See, Matthew Wade, the same record due to some reason appeared 2 times, and you want to remove these duplicates. In real life, you will always find this kind of data problems. Okay, so I'm gonna now remove sorted rows here, and then I will say right click and remove duplicates. So that will remove the duplicates values. See, right now the rows is 2, 1, 3. And in the previous step, we had 219 rows. So it removed 6 duplicates. Many times what will happen is you are building dashboard. At that time, you will encounter issues. And then you have to go back to Power Query and perform this data transformation. Okay, I kind of knew about these steps, so I'm doing it. But in general, you will glance through it, you will sort it, you'll do bunch of things to figure out all these data issues. And now we are done with dim players data transformation. We can move to the next one, which is dim match summary. Here, when I glance through this data, it all looks good. The only thing I'm going to do here is create a new column called stage. Now in T20 cricket, any match in this particular World Cup of 2022, any match that was played before 22nd October was a qualifier match. Otherwise, it was considered to be the Super 12. So let me show you that. So the logic here that we're going to use is if date is less than 22nd October 2022, then the match was qualifier, okay? Qualifier. Otherwise, it was Super 12. So I'm going to create a new column called stage, and it will be a conditional column. So let me just show you so that you get an idea. Click on add column and say conditional column. And in that conditional column, you have a match date. See, match date. So the new column name, by the way, is stage. Stage could be qualifier or Super 12. And if match date is before which date? Well, 22nd October. So I'll go and say 22nd October. Okay. I just know it. It's just a one fact that I know. And if that is the case, then this stage was qualifier. You know, in any tournament, there's qualifier and then there is a main tournament. Otherwise, it is called Super 12. And when you say okay, see, you find something like this. So this was, all of these were qualifier, and then tournament started from here. Actually, it's not less than equal to, it is less than this. So I'm just going to modify the formula and just hit okay. So see, Scotland, Zimbabwe was the last qualifier match. And then from next match onwards, we had a main tournament, which is Super 12. So just to summarize, I created this new stage column here. And then I'm going to change the type to text. So here ABC123 means text or number. So I'll just change it to only text. Then the next one is fact bowling summary. So I go here and then I will just rename few columns. For example, bowling team. I can just say team. So double click this and just say team. Okay. And then you have things like zeros. So I'll just say zeros. Instead of having zeros, I feel zeros is a better column name. So once again, you will see that you might be renaming a lot of columns. So here I will say 466 and so on. Now, see, for calculating different statistics for bowling performance, I'm going to do some transformation with overs. So many times, you know, you have 2.5 overs, which is 2 over and 5 balls. So it is better if I have a column called balls. And then if I have run, then I can divide run by balls to get the bowling of strike rate and so on. Therefore, I will just, create a balls column from this. And the way you do that is you go to overs and then you first split the column, okay, by delimiter. And that delimiter is dot. So you will just say okay, and it created two columns, overs 1 and overs 2. So for example, see 2.5. I previously had 2.5 here. Okay, so let's see 2.5. So it will now say 2 and 5 in one and second column, right? Overs dot 1, overs dot 2. And then here in this column, null values you can replace with 0, right? 4 and null is basically 4 overs. So this can be replaced with 0, and you can just go here, replace values, null, replace that with 0. Okay. And now you can add a new custom column. So you will just say add, create a custom column, call that balls. And balls is nothing but overs 1 into 6, correct? So 2 overs will be how many balls? 2 into 6, 12. And then if you have any additional ball, you add that, and that is overs 2. So you insert that, and then you get this particular formula. So if you look at different overs here, for example, let's say this first one is 4 overs. So that will be 24 balls, correct? So see 24 balls. But if you look at this particular row, let's say this row is 18 balls, but let's check this one. This is 17 balls. So 17 balls is 2 over and 5 balls. So 2 over is 2 into 6, 12, and then 5 is 17. See, 17 here. And then let's perform some quick transformation in batting summary as well. Again, I'm gonna rename all these columns 4s and 6s. And I don't like that this column is in a text form. So maybe I can have a simple column called out. I can call this column out. And if it is out, then value is 1, otherwise it's 0. Okay. So not out is 0. So how do you do that? So you can just go to transform and say replace values. And if the value is not out, out is 0. And if the value is out, once again, you can just say replace values. So replace values. If the value is out, then that means 0. So now we got nice binary 0, 1 type of column. Not out is 0 and then out is 1 actually. Okay, so see, something like this. And by the way, this balls column should be number. So I'll just say this is the whole number. And in batting summary also, you need to do similar transformation for captain where you remove the bracket C text. So once again, you click this and you just say extract text before delimiter, bracket, okay. And you will see that C thing is gone. See, Krehan, whatever in bracket C, and the next one, it is gone. So now we are done with our transformation. You can go to home, close and apply. After data transformation, we need to look into data modeling. For that, you can go to this particular tab and you will see it has already established some relationship based on column names. So let me just pull fact tables in the middle. Okay. So I'm going to just arrange them nicely. And fact tables are basically the transactions, and then the dimension tables are basically the attributes. So you can just Google if you want to read more about fact, dimension table, and the star schema. So now you can see that when you hover your mouse cursor here, based on match underscore ID, it established this link between the two. Okay, it's like one-to-many. See, you one-to-many relationship. Similarly here also, based on match ID, it established this relationship. Now we will link dim player table with this one. So here the player name is basically bowler name here, and that thing is called name here. Okay, so I will left mouse click, drag and drop on name here, and that will establish a relationship. When you hover your mouse cursor over here, see bowler name and name are highlighted, which means these two tables are linked through that particular column. Same thing here, batsman name is linked to name here. And that's it. Our data modeling in this case is pretty simple. Once data modeling is done, the next step would be to create DAX measures. So DAX measures are something that we'll be using in building the actual visuals. Okay. So for that, here I will create a category or a folder where I can keep all those DAX measures. So I will click on enter data here and I will call that key measures. Okay. So key measures. Here is this key measures 2. Just ignore that. This is just a category where you're going to add all your measures. So here I will click on this and I will say new measure. Now we need couple of measures and I have given an Excel file. Again, check video description. You can download it from here. I have given a complete list of measures that you need for this project. So the first one is total runs. Okay. So that one is pretty simple. So you will say here, you can click on this icon to kind of expand it and control scroll to make it bigger. So total runs is equal to sum of Total runs is equal to sum of all the runs in fact betting summary table, right? So here, fact betting summary runs, and that's it. So that creates a total runs measure. This column one is not needed, so you can right click, you can click and delete it. So total runs is one measure that we have already created. Now let's create the other one. So the other one that we need is total innings batted. Okay, and that one would be, so once again click here, and I'm going to just copy paste that formula. So Control C, Control V. Okay, so fact batting summary, and you're getting a count of match IDs, and that will be the total innings batted. Now, what's the purpose of this measures exactly? If you have no idea on DAX, etc., I would suggest that you can check my course on codebasics.io for Power BI, where I have explained Power BI pretty much in detail with a lot of practical and fun learning, where we completed a real life project with 1.5 million records, and the course has received amazing reviews. So go check that out. I'm going to go quickly through DAX measure creation because this is not a Power BI detailed course, correct? That's why. All right, so let's say I have created these two measures, and if I want to quickly check it, what I can do is I can pull a player's name here, and then in that table, I can add those measures. So let's say I add total runs, for example, and I can look for a particular player. For example, my favorite one, especially in the last series, was Surya Kumar Yadav, and here it says he scored 239 runs, right? You can quickly check if the measure is correct or not by opening fact batting summary CSV file, and when that file is open, you can create a filter. You can go to data and filter, and here in the filter you can type in Surya Kumar Yadav. So let's say you have a file like this. You can say Surya Kumar Yadav, and if you look at his runs, if you just highlight this, you will see 239, and that's what I have, 239, right? Similarly, you can create other measures. So what other measures do we have here? So let's check that. The other one is total inning dismissed. Okay, and total inning dismissed would be, let's see. So here I'll say new measure, total innings dismissed is equal to sum of, once again, you can do control scroll to see the whole thing. Okay, betting summary and out. So how many times the player got out? Okay, total innings dismissed. And when you pull that here, so when I say total inning dismiss here, say I'm getting some error, and if I click on this, it says that function sum cannot work with value type string, which means we created this measure based on this out column, and out column is not a number, it looks like. So you can go click here, home, click on, transform data to go to the Power Query, and you see the out column in fact betting summary is ABC, which means it's text. So you can change it to a whole number. So just change it to a whole number, say close and apply, and then it will show up fine. So Aaron Finch was out 2 times, and you can see all these statistics. In the similar fashion, you will be creating all the rest of the DAX measure. Okay, so once again, this file is given to you, you download it, and I want you to create all these measures. And once you create all these measures, it's gonna look something like this. See here, it will look something like this. So you will, by the way, create all these measures and also group them in these kind of folders. So how do you group them? So let me show that. So when you have these measures, let's say these 3 measures, right? And if you want to group them, what you can do is this. You can enter a display folder here. Basically, you can say batting and it will put it in a batting folder, and then you just drag and drop. Okay, so you drag it here, drag it here. Okay, so this way, see, you have a nice batting folder. So your goal, by the way, this is an exercise for you folks. This is not hard, don't worry, you can do it. Your goal is to create all the measures. You know, I just showed you 2-3 measures, but you have to create all these measures on your own and just put them in respective folder. Once you are done creating measures, you have to also create some calculated columns. Calculated columns is just a jargon. Actually, it's nothing but similar to Excel formula. So if you have Excel formula, for example, let's say if I go to this CSV file and I remove this filter, right? So let me remove that filter. I want to know total runs from boundaries. Okay, so let's say boundary runs. If I want to do that, I can use some formula in Excel, correct? So whatever, let's say if you have whatever number of 4s into 4 plus whatever number 6 you have into 6, that will be your boundary runs, correct? And if you drag and drop this formula like this, you will see the boundary runs. For example, this guy scored 1 4 and 1 6, so that will make it 10 run. Similar to this Excel formula, we are going to create calculated column in our DAX. So let's go to our file here, and by the way, this visual was just for your validation, so you can delete it. So here in the batting summary, I will create my first calculated column, which is, let's say, boundary runs, right? So boundary runs is this. So how do you do that? So you can go to this table view and you can say new column. Okay, and this new column will be this. This is the name. Okay, so let's say boundary runs, and that boundary runs is equal to, see, that fact batting summary 4s into 4 plus fact batting summary 6 into 6. If you have a slight bit of Excel idea, this is pretty straightforward. So you create a new column here. Once again, for validation, you can look at anything here. See, like this one, for example, this person hit Pat Cummins 2 4s 1 6. So 2 4s is 2 into 4, 8, and 1 6 is 8 and 6 is 14. So 14 runs. Pretty straightforward. So create all these 3 calculated columns, and once again, if you want to look at the final PBIX file, which I have given, again, check video description, you are given all the assets, and that final file would have, see, all those measures. So anything which has this symbol is a calculated column. So see, it has boundary runs. Okay, so it has pretty much everything that you need. The visual here correctly represents how much attention dashboarding gets. And now we are going to start dashboarding for our project. When you work as a data analyst in any company, usually business managers will provide you some kind of rough mock-up with their understanding on how they want to see the dashboard. So here they have given this image which they can draw on Not and Pen, where they want to see different tabs for power hitters, anchors, fast bowlers. Remember, previously we covered different criteria for each of these categories. And when you select any category, let's say you select hitters or anchors, you will see the players in that category along with the statistics such as their runs, strike rate, batting average, etc. And on the right hand side, you want to have a criteria filter where based on our criteria, we can see a list of players here. And then at the bottom, you will have some kind of trends for various statistics, and bottom right would be the scatter chart between strike rate and batting average. Now they can provide this mock-up in a rough format like this, or sometimes people use PowerPoint or some other tool and they will just draw their rough ideas. And as a data analyst, it is our responsibility to communicate back Communication is a very important skill when it comes to data analyst career. So we are going to provide you all these mockups. The name of this file is mockup.txt, which you will find in the video description below. Once again, when you download all those files, you will see this file. Now I'm going to take this stage2.pbix file, which has all the DAX measures created. You can also do the same. You can just get that file and I will start building our visual. So here, the first thing that we are building is the page for power hitters. And what I will do is I will go to dim player table and grab the name of the player and just drag and drop here. So it shows me, see, all the names of every single possible player. And if you check our mockups, we want to have certain columns in this field, such as, let's say, team, for example, then the batting style, okay, then the innings batted. So you can go to key measures and you can say, okay, innings batted, and then total amount of runs that these players made, total balls that they faced, strike rate, their batting average, and so on. And once you have all these columns, you want to look at your criteria for openers, your power hitters. And here it says, see, their batting average should be greater than 30, strike rate should be greater than 140. So now you will use this filter tab to filter those players, because this list is showing all the players, right? You want your batting average to be greater than 30. So I can say batting average should be greater than 30, apply filter, and it will see filter all those players. Then you want a strike rate to be greater than 140. So I will go to strike rate and say is strike rate is greater than 140. So strike rate greater than 140, innings batted greater than 3, and boundary percentage greater than 50. So innings batted, where is it? Okay, innings batted should be greater than 3, and then boundary percentage greater than 50. So boundary percentage greater than 50, 50% is 0.5, right? So that is greater than, apply filter, and then the last one is batting position should be less than 4. So in whatever matches they played, their batting position should be in the opening somewhere. So it is less than 4. And when you apply all this criteria, you see a nice list of players who can be your potential power hitter in your final 11 team. You can also do some, visualization related changes. For example, total runs. I want to see them as a bar chart, like a horizontal bar chart. So you can now go to visualization tab. You can say total runs. I want to do conditional formatting, and I want to display the data bar charts, and the bar charts looks something like this. You can sort these columns as well, by the way. So if you click on it, you can see the player with highest runs. We all know Joe Butler. I still remember their inning with India. Joe Butler and Alex Hales just killed it in the semifinals. So you see they have pretty good runs, strike rate, and so on. Now, folks, building the whole dashboard is few hours of process, and I don't want to waste your time just going over all of that. So I'm just going to show you a stage 3 file. So once again, whatever files you have downloaded, okay, video description, check it. You will find this file called stage 3, and that has all the raw visuals created. So, you will have a page for power hitters, for example. Then you will have a page for anchors, middle order. Okay, and how do you create this page? Well, when you go to here, this will be page 1. So you say, okay, power hitters or openers. and then you create a new page, and you create a new page for anchors or middle order, right? So anchors, middle order, you just type, double click and type in it, anchors, middle order, and then you drag and drop and start building the visuals here. And when you build the visuals in the raw format, ultimately they will look something like this. Okay, now if you are once again new to Power BI and you don't know the basics of these visuals, what you can do is you can go to codebasics.io and just take our Power BI course. It covers all of those concepts pretty much in detail. But for this video, I'm going to give you this stage 3 files so that you can check various properties of the visual in case you don't know how to build it. So when you click on it, see here, it will show you what kind of visual it is. So this one is a card visual. And if you want to look at the formatting, for example, then you can just go click here and you can look at various, properties. So we are going to assume that you have built all these raw visuals and now it is time to beautify them, to make them look good and kind of connect different pieces. Once you beautify your dashboard, it's gonna look something like this. Now this is what we have built, but you can build it as per your own preference for colors and different visual behavior. We have provided you all the dashboarding tips here, which you can use to build our dashboard. See, I'm not going to spoon feed you, because when you go work in the industry, it becomes essential that you use your Googling skills to figure things out. If you are trying to change a color of some visuals, okay, you can just Google it. Googling is an art that can be tremendously helpful, and this is a unique opportunity for you to use that art to learn certain things on your own while we are providing you full assistance. So read dashboarding tips and then try to make the entire dashboard look pretty good. In our Power BI course also, we have an entire chapter on designing an effective dashboard. Now you will be glad to know that this particular dashboard is designed by one of our students. So he took our Power BI course. His name is Ashish Babaria. He also participates in our codebasics.io resume project challenges. So if you go to the website, resume project challenges, which are free for everyone to participate, he has won first prize in 2 challenges. And if you click on this LinkedIn icon, you will see his post here where he builds beautiful dashboards. Now Ashish's background, if you check it, he's a trade agro specialist. So he comes from a non-technical background. He learned Power BI. Look at his background. He's trade agro specialist. So he doesn't have a formal training on data analytics, etc. He learned Power BI mainly from Code Basics channel and various other resources. And by participating in resume project challenges, we were able to spot his challenge, and he's now working with us as a freelancer and he's helping us with all these projects. So look at the quality of and professionalism of this dashboard. He learned things on his own at a later part of his career, and you can become like Ashish too. Now you can click on various player categories. So in the power hitters, you want to have few players from this particular list. And if you look at the filter criteria, see, this is all the filter criteria that we had. Now look at the filter criteria, for example, for fast bowlers, right? So in fast bowlers, you want to have bowling economy to be less than 7, and they should be taking a wicket every 16 balls. So if you go to our fast bowlers, control click on that, and if you click on this visual, you will see all the filters that we have. Okay, so see, bowling strike rate is less than 60, dot ball is greater than 40%, and so on. So you see all those details here. And if you want to modify any criteria, it's super easy. You just go here, type in, and you can play with different things. And in the next part of this session, what we're going to do is invite Tony Sharma, who is a subject matter expert and in charge of this project. He will help us decide the final 11. So if you control click on it, see, we have our final 11 almost decided, but you can modify certain criteria, substitute different players. And if you look at this team, if you know cricket, just look at this team. It looks pretty solid, like unbeatable team. So see, Power BI data analytics can help you generate data-driven insights that can make a huge difference in the problem that you're trying to solve. We are going to provide you this final file also. So if you have question on some visual behavior, you can click on it and you can, check the different visuals that we have. You can look at format and their, various properties that these elements are having. And I will quickly play a time-lapse view so that you have some idea on how this visual was built.
So Nick, we are just few minutes away from saving the world. How does this dashboard look?
Dashboard looks amazing, but can you show me the best 11?
Not yet. We are getting there. Just give me a few minutes. Let me explain how I have done this. So in the previous session we had, I explained what are the parameters I'm using, right? And now you can see these parameters come into action, come live. So this is how I've created the parameters. You can see how I filtered the players for the openers. These are the power hitters. And, I also have like a solid graph of them, like to understand their consistency, to understand their playing trend and all of that. And I also have a scatter plot to show how their batting average fares with strike rate. So you can see these are the players I've got here, correct? So these players will be able to strike ball at around, I have players who can strike ball at 160, 170, even close to 170. At the same time, give me an average of 35. You can see that. And Josh Butler here gives me the highest average, but he's a good striker as well. He strikes at 140 plus, which fits our parameter. So you can see that these players are there. So out of these players, I'm going to select Josh Butler because you can see he's consistent all the matches. He has played all the matches pretty decently, and he's a good wicket keeper as well. So we need a wicket keeper. So he's going to be a wicket keeper batter. And his partner, Alex Sales, is a good choice. Is a good choice of a second opener. But again, he's not consistent in all the matches. Also, I need a left-hand combination with a better strike rate. So I'm going to choose Relay Russo from South Africa. He's a better option for me. He has he can strike ball like crazy. I can show you the combined the performance of this both. I'm just selecting this both. So if these two players play together, Relay Russo and Josh Butler, if they play together, they will give us 40 runs in average at a strike rate of 150 plus. So if they two bat without losing a wicket, so we'll hit our target of 180. If they bat 120 balls, they will give us 180 runs. And they will stand at least for 4 overs on an average, because the average balls faced, you can see it's 23.9. And they scores run at 60% in boundaries, which is so perfect to what we need. You can see the consistency is pretty much there. It's dropping here and there, but they are, they together as a package will give us what we need.
I love this feature that you can select two players and see their statistics on average basis. Because this way, let's say if these two players are playing and if I have questions on their partnership statistics, I can get the view of those numbers easily here.
Yeah. It is not exactly like a partnership, but it will give you their combined performance.
Got it. I got the point.
Yes. And so I'm also going to select Alex Hales just as my reserve opener. So I'm going to select 3 players for this position potentially, but the two I'm going to play is Josh Butler and Relay Russo. All right, let's move to the anchors where we'll be select 3 players here. Again, you can see the filters I applied on this data: batting average, strike rate, innings batted, exactly like we discussed, right? Here, the interesting part is we have Virat Kohli on the top with most runs, and then follows Surya Kumar Yadav. So let's check into this chart, the scatter plot. Virat Kohli is clearly the winner because he gives us a lot of runs. He's a run machine. We definitely need to pick him. And the second player could be, I couldn't think anything better than Surya Kumar Yadav because you can see his average is 60. He could give us 60 runs on an average, and he's striking at 190. This is the best we have in the team. So even our openers did not score runs at a good strike rate, this guy can come and propel the score. So we need him in the team for sure. And these two players are solid. They have a good partnership. It's a great idea to play them together. So for my fifth position, I'm going to go with the three options I have is like Lorcan Tucker, Glenn Phillips, and Daryl Mitchell. So I'm based on the statistics, based on the averages. It's easy for me to choose Glenn Phillips. So even though he has a strike rate of 160, which is really high for the position, he scores at an average of 40. So that's the reason I go for this. He's clearly my number 5.
Okay.
Right. And let's move on to the next one. So this is going to get slightly tricky because I have many players in this position, whom we can pick. So like I said, I'm looking for a batting all-rounder here. And that batting all-rounder could be, a batsman who can score runs at a very high strike rate, at the same time anchor the innings, or, that this person can be a fast bowler or a spinner as well. In order to, justify my selection, let me come back to this place again. I'll go to select my specialist fast bowlers first, so that it becomes very easy for me whether I need a fast bowler in the position or whether at all I need a bowler at all in the position. If I need a good bowler or a good batsman in that position. So I will select my fast bowlers first. So here my selection is super, super, super easy. I'm going to select this guy, Sam Curran. You can see his economy is 6.53 and his bowling average is 11.38, which means he gets a wicket for every 11 runs that he provides. And his bowling strike rate is also staggering. He gets a wicket for every 10.5 balls, which means if he bowls the full 4 overs, we are definitely getting 2 wickets. And look at this guy. He has got 11 wickets at an crazy economy of 5.37. He gives less than 6 runs in an over. We definitely need him on our team. And he's a fast bowler. And he picks wickets in less than 10 balls. So these two are definitely in our team. And of course, Shaheen Shah Afridi. How can we ignore him? The kind of player he is a left-arm fast bowler. And he can really rattle the batsman.
He's one of my favorite.
Yeah. So we are picking this 3. Tim Southee is good. But if I have to pick 3, I'm just going to be this 3. So these are the parameters I've applied here. You can see that, the innings ball, bowling strike rate, bowling average, exactly like we discussed in the parameter session. So let's see their combined performance together, just to get an idea. Sam Curran, Enrique Nokia, Shaheen Shah Afridi. You can see these guys will pick a wicket for every 11 runs they give, which means if these 3 bowl all the 20 overs, they will get the full team all out for 110 runs. 113 runs, and they will get a wicket every 11 balls. If they bowl all the 20 overs, the team is all out. And they will.
So imagine they're bowling first 3 or 4 hours. They will, let's say, if these players they bowl first 6 overs, how many wickets they will take?
If they bowl the first 6 overs, they will pick a wicket for every 12 balls. So 6 overs is 36. So they will pick at least 3 wickets. That's on average.
That would be awesome. If you pick 3 wickets in the power play, that's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, they will definitely scalp the top 3. They will open the middle order for us. And look at the economy. The combined economy is 6, which means if they bowl the first 6 overs, they will be just giving 36 runs. And the dot ball they produce is close to 50%, which means if they bowl all the 20 overs, the batsman is able to score only the half of the overs, like only the 10 overs. The rest of the 10 overs, they're scoring nothing. It's a dot ball. These 3 are the major strength to our team. All right. So let me come to the all-rounders now before I go to the finisher role. So we have 3 solid fast bowlers. So in my all-rounder, I'm going to have the spin element. But at the same time, I want these two players to bat as well at the highest striker rate. So that's the reason, as I explained earlier, I've kept the strike rate parameter as 140. If I don't consider the strike rate, let's say if I get the strike rate as 100, I might get more players. Like even I get Ben Stokes here, but I'm considering strike rate 140.
Oh, got it. I was expecting to see Ben Stokes. Now I know why he's not showing up.
Yeah. I will explain why Ben Stokes is not here in the other page as well, because I wanted him at that role earlier. So you can see from this graph, Rashid Khan is really good in terms of the bowling strike rate. I mean, I can't say it's really good because bowling strike rate should be lesser, right? It's not good. And you have Sikandar Raza, who has the economy. We kind of finding people in this zone. This zone is the best zone, who has the lesser economy and lesser bowling strike rate. So Shadab Khan is really the winner. He definitely deserves a spot because you can see his performance. He's quite consistent as well. His bowling average is good. Whenever he got a chance to bat, he has batted well as well. This is his bowling and batting performance. It's of high consistency. But Shadab Khan, can I play him at number 7? I'm not sure. Because if my number 6 did not bat well, I want someone more capable to bat at number 7. So I would play Shadab Khan at number 8. But then at number 7, I would play Sikandar Raza. This is the person I'm going to play at number 7. Because look at his strike rate. It's 147. And he also has a very high batting average of 27 runs. For a number 7, he normally played at number 5 or number 4. But for number 7, if you have this kind of an average, it's great with this strike rate. So that's going to be my number 7 and number 8. I've got my 9, 10, and 11 as well. So I just need to select my number 6. So again, choosing this position is slightly difficult. I would show you why, let me take out the filter from the strike rate, right? You would see that I also have Ben Stokes here. So Ben Stokes could not make this list because his strike rate was too low in the series. His strike rate was just 105. If the batsman is scoring just run a ball, we cannot have them in the number 6 because this position might require to hit like crazy. So that's the reason Ben Stokes might not find his place. So I'm going to say it's greater than 130. And again, if I have to say that whom I'm going to pick from here. So we have 3 fast bowlers, 2 spinners. Glenn Maxwell looks like a good option, but he's a spinner again. I'm not sure whether my 6th bowling option should be a spinner, but his bowling average is good. You can see his economy is 6. His bowling strike rate is 6.33, which means he has got a wicket almost every 6 balls. So he's one of my options. My other option is Marcus Stoinis. I'm going to play with this guy. His bowling average is not that good. His economy is not that good, but he's a good striker of the ball. And he's someone I can also trust to anchor the game. So I could go for Marcus Stoinis if I want a better batsman with high striking rate, or if I want someone more balanced, I could go with Hardik Pandya. So this guy will give me a good batting average, but his strike rate is also not that great, and his consistency is also not that good in this World Cup. But his bowling is good. If I really need the 6th bowling option, I would go for Hardik Pandya. But the kind of bowlers that I have, Shaheen Shah Afridi, Sam Curran, Enric Nokia, and all those players, I don't think I would need Hardik Pandya in my team. Then I will go for Marcus Stoinis. So I will make my decision easier by showing the final 11, right? So if I go to the final 11, I've already picked the top 11, like I said, right? So you can see this is our batting 11. Josh Butler, Rile Russo will be opening the game. Virat Kohli, followed by Surya Kumar Yadav, Glenn Phillips. And in this number 6, I've selected here Hardik Pandya. But I want to go with, let's say, Marcus Stoinis. You can see the combined performance of the team. Batting average is 37.76. The team on average scores 37 runs. Strike rate is 150. All the facts it's given here. But if I choose Marcus Stoinis, since my 6th batting position should increase the batting strength, I'm focusing more on the batting strength now because our bowling is already great. I'm selecting Marcus Stoinis and removing Hardik Pandya. You would see my batting average improved from 37 to 39.6. and my strike rate improved from 151 to 154.4. So this is the reason I would go for Marcus Stoinis. But I can also go for Maxwell, right? You can see that the performance of Maxwell and Marcus Stoinis are very much comparable. They have a very similar strike rate, almost very close. And Maxwell has bowled well. He has picked up wickets well, but he's a spin bowler. He's a right-arm off-break bowler. So since I would need my sixth bowling option as someone who can bowl pace, I'm going for Marcus Stoinis. But on a given day, we will still have options. You can still choose Glenn Maxwell on a given day, depending upon the pitch. If the sixth bowling option can be a spin, then my second option is Maxwell. If I need someone more in the bowling side, if some of our fast bowlers get injured, then I would choose Hardik Pandya for number 6. So I would keep all these three options open. But right now, my team in the final 11, I would have Marcus Stoinis. And in the opening, I would go for Relay Russo. But if you want Alex Sales, he's also available for selection.
Got it.
So,
Just by looking at this list, I'm feeling super excited. Anyone who is following cricket, if they look at this list of players, they will be like, this team is unbeatable.
This is the best team that we got on our planet, and I'm sure we would win this game and save our planet.
So, Tony, this team is great, but I know that Mitchell Starc is a pretty good fast bowler from Australia. Can you tell me why he's not in the final 11?
Sure. I think he must have not met our standards. Let me check. Pretty sure he's there, but he didn't meet our standards. So I think, if I recall it correctly, maybe his bowling strike rate is definitely not under 16. So let me take this out. And maybe he didn't bowl dot balls like we want. And his bowling average might not be less than 20. I should remove that as well. And his economy is definitely not less than 7. Let me take that out. And let me see if we can have him in the M. Don't think we have him yet. So maybe he didn't even play the 4 innings. Yeah, you could find him here now. Mitchell Starc. You can see his economy is 8.5, which is more than 7. His bowling average is 34. His bowling strike rate is 24. So that's the reason why he's not there. And he has also played ball just 3 innings. We wanted at least 4 innings. Yeah, that's the reason.
All right, it's clear now.
Okay, here's your final 11. Nick, go get us the cup and save the planet.
The future of this planet is focused on these 11 players. They are traveling to the wilderness out in the dark to bring us light. And may we all, citizens of data, hope and pray, our analysis and insights shall work. Defeat these portents and bring us glory.
Three weeks later.
You defeat us in cricket, you get Earth. If you lose, join me as an intern. Join me as an intern. Join me as an intern. Now comes the most interesting part of this entire project series, which is an exercise. And by working on this exercise, you will be able to win an exciting prize, which is 20% scholarship on one of our premium courses on codebasics.io. For exercise, what you need to do is, number 1, in the tooltip for players, you are seeing, let's say if it is Surya Kumar Yadav, you are seeing India versus Pakistan, India versus whatever team. You all know he's from India. So you need to remove that IND and just have versus Pakistan versus Sri Lanka. So you need to update that tooltip. That is exercise number 1. Second one is you have to update the visual look and feel of the entire dashboard. So you can change colors, the placement, different visual aspects of the entire dashboard. So come up with your own design and colors. Number 3 is providing some more insights. So whatever we have covered in dashboard, in addition to that, try to add more insights. And then once you have that dashboard created, you can write a nice LinkedIn post and tag me, Hemanan, and add following particular hashtag so that we know that you have submitted this. We are going to provide some sample LinkedIn post in the description below. These are for resume projects, but basically you can write nice post, upload your project on Novi Pro, or maybe just short a simple video and make a LinkedIn post on it. I wish you all the best, and I hope you learned a lot of different things in this project. This is going to be an excellent project for your resume, and make sure you're writing LinkedIn posts. That way, you can draw attention from potential recruiters. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and please share it with your friends. Any question or comments, post in the comment box below, or we have a Discord server for Code Basics. Go there and you can post your question there as well. Thank you.